You know how dreams can be just so weird and puzzling, right? Sometimes they feel totally random. But in some traditions, they are absolutely packed with messages, with warnings, and insights. Today, we're going to dive into a very specific and pretty powerful symbol, the lizard, as it's understood in Islamic dream interpretation.
So, I gotta ask, have you? Maybe it was just scurrying across a wall in the background of your dream, or maybe it was right there, staring at you. You probably woke up thinking, okay, what on earth was that all about? Well, that's exactly what we're here to decode.
And this is the key idea we need to start with. In this tradition, that lizard isn't just some random reptile that crawled into your subconscious. Nope, it's a messenger. And figuring out what it's trying to tell you, well, that's crucial. So let's break down that message together.
All right, before we get into all the nitty-gritty details, like was it big or small, green or black, we have to understand the foundation. What does the lizard represent at its absolute core?
So, right off the bat, a lizard in a dream is usually not a great sign. It's basically a big old warning. It points to deception, to hidden enemies, to people who are causing trouble behind the scenes. Think of it as your gut instinct giving you a little nudge, saying, hey, be careful.
Now this is where the real detective work starts. We've got the general warning, but the specifics of the message, that all depends on the details. So let's look at our first major clue. How did you actually interact with the lizard in your dream?
And this is a perfect example of how two opposite actions can lead to totally different meanings. If you kill the lizard in your dream, that's a huge win. It means you've successfully dealt with a deceitful person or a bad situation. But what if that lizard gets away? That suggests a missed opportunity. It means someone who wishes you harm might have just slipped away without any consequences.
Now let's break down what the lizard is doing to you. If it bites you, we're not talking physical harm. We're talking about an attack on your reputation. Think slander, think gossip. If it's a full-on attack, you might need to prepare for an open confrontation in real life. And maybe the most subtle one, if you're just holding it, that's a serious warning that you've put your trust in the wrong person.
Okay, let's move on to our second big clue for cracking this code. The lizard's appearance. What it looked like, its color, its size. That gives you even more insight into the nature of the warning.
Think of the color as a key to the kind of deception you're facing. A green lizard? That points to deceit hidden behind a friendly smile or seemingly good intentions. Black is way more direct. It's a warning of serious danger or hostility. A white lizard suggests hypocrisy from someone who acts all pure. And a color-changing one? That's the classic sign of a two-faced person you just can't trust.
Size absolutely matters here, and it's a pretty straightforward clue. A big lizard means a big problem, a powerful enemy you need to watch out for. A small one, on the other hand, might represent a smaller issue, but it's also a warning that it could grow into something much bigger if you don't pay attention.
So what if it wasn't just one lizard? What if there were a whole bunch of them? Well, that basically turns the warning signal way up. It suggests the problem isn't just one person. You might be in an entire environment, a social circle, a workplace that's filled with gossip and negativity.
Okay, after all of those warnings, here's a bit of good news. Seeing a dead lizard in your dream is actually a positive sign. It means the threat is over, a harmful influence has been neutralized, or an enemy has been defeated. It's a symbol of relief and resolution.
All right, the final piece of our puzzle. The third lens we're looking through is the location. Where did this dream happen? The setting tells you which area of your life is being affected by this hidden threat. If the lizard is in your home, the threat is close and personal. If you see it actually entering your house, that's a sign that negativity is trying to breach your sanctuary. If it's in the bedroom, well, the warning gets much more intimate, pointing to potential betrayal in your closest relationships. And seeing it on a wall, that often means you're being watched by envious or jealous eyes.
The location can be more symbolic, too. Seeing a lizard in a desert, for example, often reflects a feeling of emotional dryness or isolation, a feeling that's very often caused by some kind of betrayal.
Now, these interpretations aren't just modern guesses. They're rooted in a really long and respected tradition of Islamic scholarship. So let's ground all this in the wisdom of one of the most famous figures in dream interpretation.
This is from Muhammad ibn Sirin, a true pioneer in this field, and his take on it lines up perfectly with everything we've been talking about. He directly connects the lizard to deceitful people and hypocritical environments, reinforcing that core symbolism we started with.
And this is probably the most important thing to take from his work, the principle that ties it all together. He really stressed that you can't just stop at lizard equals enemy. You have to look at the context, the interaction, the appearance, the location. The details are what unlock the dream's true message.
So, we've decoded the symbols, we've looked at the dream through 3 different lenses, and we've even consulted an expert. So what's the big message here? What are you supposed to actually do with this information?
You know, it really all boils down to this. The dream is a spiritual heads-up to be more vigilant. And the advice is pretty clear. First, just be cautious and wise. Second, look past the surface of things. Don't get fooled by appearances. Third, identify and acknowledge the threats around you, no matter how small they seem. And finally, the ultimate takeaway is to protect yourself by strengthening your spiritual awareness and just doing the right thing. So, at the end of the day, a dream about a lizard isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to prepare you. Think of it as a confidential warning, a little signal to pay closer attention to the people and the energy in your life. So the only real question left is, are you listening?